You got the pay rise. You ran the numbers. On paper, you should be able to save a decent amount every month. But every time you check your bank account, the number is somehow lower than it should be. Not catastrophically lower, just quietly, consistently lower, month after month. This is the invisible tax. It's not HMRC, it's not your landlord, it's a collection of small, recurring financial decisions, each one individually defensible, together structurally damaging, that are silently consuming the bandwidth between what you earn and what you build. Today, we're running a full British value audit. 5 specific leaks, the exact annual cost of each one based on 2026 data, and the precise fix. Not vague advice, but a specific action you can take in the next 48 hours. Let's find your money. Before we go through each leak, I want to establish why small recurring costs are more financially damaging than large one-off purchases, because this is not obvious, and most financial advice gets this backwards. When you spend $800 on a holiday, your brain registers it as a significant expenditure. You thought about it, you made a conscious decision, you got a tangible experience in return. The budget impact is visible and bounded. When you spend $14.99 on a streaming service you haven't used in 3 weeks, your brain registers almost nothing. The transaction is invisible. It happens in the background, on direct debit, while you're asleep. You don't think about it. You don't justify it. And because it never crosses the threshold of conscious attention, it never gets canceled. Now multiply that across 5 or 6 similar services. Add the food delivery habit. Add the gym you intended to use. Add the buy now, pay later balance quietly accruing. Each individual item feels minor. The collective annual cost is often equivalent to a full month's take-home pay, spent entirely on things the person could not list without checking their bank statements. That is the definition of a financial leak. Not a flood, not a crisis, a slow, quiet, permanent drain. One that compounds not just financially, but by crowding out the disposable income that would otherwise fund an ISA contribution, a pension top-up, or a deposit. Leak 1. The subscription stack. According to research published in The Times in March of 2026, the average British adult now spends £72 per month on subscriptions. That's £864 a year. But the more revealing figure comes from household-level data. Once you include streaming, food delivery memberships, gaming, fitness apps, cloud storage, and the newer AI tool subscriptions that have proliferated in the last 2 years, many households are spending well over £1,000 a year on recurring digital services. The structural problem with subscription spending is the perception gap. Studies consistently show that people underestimate their subscription spending by 40 to 60%. You think you're paying £35 a month, you're actually paying £72. You think you have 3 subscriptions, you have 6, 2 of which you haven't actively used in the past month. Run the audit right now or immediately after this video. Open your bank statements from the last 3 months. Search for monthly, subscription, premium, and every streaming brand name you can think of. Write down every recurring charge. Most people find at least 2 services they had forgotten they were paying for. The fix is not to cancel everything. Some subscriptions are genuinely excellent value. The fix is to cancel the passive ones, the services you are paying for out of inertia rather than active enjoyment. The test: if you had to consciously resubscribe to it today, would you? If the honest answer is no, cancel it this week. Typical saving from a rigorous subscription audit for an average UK household is £25 to £45 per month, £300 to £540 per year. Redirected to a stocks and shares ISA at 7% growth, that saving over 5 years becomes between £2,100 and £3,800. Leak 2. Food delivery. Let's be honest about what food delivery apps are in 2026. They are not a cheap way to eat. They are a premium convenience product that has been normalized by extremely clever marketing into feeling like an ordinary part of everyday life. The price reality. When you order via Deliveroo, Uber Eats, or Just Eat, you typically pay 3 to 4 separate charges. The menu price itself, which is often marked up 10 to 30% above what the restaurant charges directly, a delivery fee, a service fee of 10 to 15%, and potentially a small order surcharge if your basket is below a minimum. A meal that would cost £12 directly from a restaurant can cost £18 to £20 by the time it arrives at your door, a 50 to 67% total markup over the base price. A Which investigation found that ordering the same groceries via Deliveroo cost 36% more than buying them directly from the co-op. Morning Fold's 2026 analysis puts the total premium for a typical restaurant meal, including all fees, at between 35% and 100% above direct ordering or cooking. For occasional use, this is a lifestyle choice and completely reasonable. The problem is habit. Research suggests UK households spending £200 to £500 per month on food delivery apps, roughly £2,400 to £6,000 per year, frequently do not realize they're spending at this level. The fix is not to stop ordering entirely. It is to apply the same logic as any premium purchase. Make it a deliberate, occasional treat rather than a passive default. 2 practical interventions. Order directly from the restaurant when possible, typically 20 to 30% cheaper with no platform fees. And if you use delivery more than twice per week, add up last month's total spend and compare it to what equivalent home-cooked meals would cost. The number is usually a shock. Leak 3. Buy now, pay later. Used for essentials. BNPL is not inherently a financial leak. Used strategically for a large, planned, one-off purchase with a clear repayment plan, a 0% BNPL arrangement is functionally free credit and entirely rational. The problem is what it has become. LendingTree's 2026 research found that 47% of BNPL users paid late on at least one loan in the past year, up 13 percentage points from 2 years ago. More critically, a growing share of users are now relying on BNPL not for discretionary purchases, but for everyday essentials, groceries, utility bills, and in one of the more alarming data points, takeaway food. Martin Lewis, the founder of Money Saving Expert, publicly called out a Deliveroo and Klarna partnership by asking a pointed question: why are people borrowing money to pay for a takeaway? When BNPL shifts from a tool for planned purchases to a mechanism for funding day-to-day spending you cannot currently afford, it is no longer a financial product. It is a sign that your income and your outgoings are out of alignment, and BNPL is masking that misalignment rather than resolving it. Under FCA regulation taking effect from July 2026, BNPL providers must now conduct proper affordability assessments. This will make approval harder for some users, which is the point. If you are using BNPL for groceries or food delivery, the most important financial action you can take is not to find a better BNPL deal. It is to treat that usage as a direct signal that your budget requires rebalancing. The other 4 leaks in this video are the most likely culprits. Leak 4. High-interest vehicle financing on a new or nearly new car. A car is, with very few exceptions, one of the worst stores of value in your financial life. It depreciates the moment you drive it off the forecourt, typically 15 to 25% in the first year alone. And yet, the UK Personal Contract Purchase Market, PCP, has made it extraordinarily easy to sit in a brand new car for a monthly payment that feels manageable while obscuring the true total cost. Here is how PCP actually works. You pay a deposit, then monthly payments covering the depreciation over a fixed term, typically 3 years. At the end, you either hand it back, pay a balloon payment to own it, or roll into a new agreement. You never build equity. Each cycle resets. The monthly payment is not building you any asset. Compare this to a 4 or 5-year-old quality second-hand car purchased outright, or with a straightforward bank loan at a lower rate than PCP dealer finance. A £12,000 second-hand car with 40,000 miles from a reputable dealer, bought with a £5,000 deposit and a low-rate personal loan for the remainder, will typically cost you £2,000 to £4,000 less over 4 years than a PCP on a new equivalent vehicle, and at the end of that period, you own the car. This is not an argument that everyone should buy old banger cars. It is an argument that PCP financing on a new vehicle, where the monthly payment feels affordable but the total cost of ownership is obscured, is consistently one of the most expensive ways to get from A to B, and that a modest second-hand vehicle purchased strategically costs significantly less while delivering functionally identical transport.
Leak 5. The gym membership. The UK fitness industry generates over £5 billion in annual revenue. A meaningful portion of that revenue comes from members who pay every month and attend rarely or not at all. Industry data consistently shows that roughly 50% of gym members visit fewer than twice per month, the threshold below which most financial analysts would class the membership as poor value against per-visit alternatives. The structure of gym memberships is deliberately designed to minimize cancellation. Annual contracts, rolling monthly commitments with 30-day notice periods, the psychological friction of the cancellation process, and the persistent belief that I'll start going more next month. All of these combine to keep the direct debit running long after the behavior has stopped matching the intention. The annual cost ranges widely. Budget gyms like Pure Gym or the Gym Group run at £20 to £30 per month, £240 to £360 annually. Mid-range chains run at £40 to £60 per month, £480 to £720. Premium facilities can exceed £100 per month. For someone attending once a week, a Pure Gym membership costs around £6 per visit. Attending twice per month, it costs £15 per visit, comparable to a pay-as-you-go class. The honest audit question: what is your average monthly visit frequency over the last 6 months? Not your intention, your actual usage. If it is below 6 visits per month, the financial case for membership is weak against a pay-as-you-go or no contract arrangement. Cancel. You can always rejoin, and if you do rejoin, you will know you are actually using it. Let's step back and look at what these 5 leaks cost in total. Not monthly, not annually, but over 5 years, because the 5-year number is the one that changes behavior. Conservative estimates for all 5 leaks combined for a typical UK household in 2026: subscriptions saving £400 per year, food delivery reduction saving £600 per year, BNPL discipline removing perhaps £150 in late fees and interest per year, a smarter vehicle choice saving £500 per year, and canceling the unused gym saving £480 per year. Total annual saving approximately £2,130 on conservative assumptions. For households where the food delivery habit is significant, the total can easily reach £4,000 to £4,800 per year. Now invest that saving, at £180 per month, the conservative figure, into a stocks and shares ISA at a 7% average annual return over 5 years. That is approximately £12,800 at year 5. At the higher figure of £400 per month, you reach approximately £28,600. That is not an abstract financial planning exercise. At the Sheffield house price we covered in our London versus the North video, £28,600 is more than the full 10% deposit on an average first-time buyer property. These 5 leaks, fixed systematically, could be the difference between deposit-ready in 5 years and not deposit-ready in 10. This is the compounding argument for a value audit. The leaks don't just cost what they cost the investment returns that money would have generated. They cost the deposit year you lost. They cost the pension contribution you couldn't make. Every pound that drains invisibly has an opportunity cost that grows with every month it isn't addressed. I want to end with a framing shift, because the point of a value audit is not to make you feel guilty about Netflix or guilty about ordering a curry on a Friday. Guilt is not a sustainable financial strategy. The reframe is this: your income is capital. It is the raw material of your financial future.
Every pound that leaves your account in exchange for genuine value, something you actively chose that genuinely improves your life, is a good use of that capital. Every pound that leaves because of inertia, habit, or a frictionless subscription system is capital that was extracted from you without you making a real decision. The difference is agency. A deliberate takeaway order you enjoy is not a financial leak. A default takeaway order you make because it's the path of least resistance and you're tired is. A gym you attend 3 times a week is not a leak. A gym you pass every day on the way home and feel vaguely guilty about is. The British value audit is not about deprivation. It is about making sure every pound that leaves your account did so because you decided it should, not because a subscription economy designed around friction-free recurring charges decided for you. Protect your capital, widen the margin, build the wealth. Here is your 48-hour audit checklist. 5 actions. 1. Open 3 months of bank statements tonight. Search for every recurring charge. Write down the full list and the total monthly cost. No skipping, no estimating, actual figures. 2. Apply the resubscribe test to every subscription on that list. Would you consciously sign up today? Cancel every no answer this week. 3. Open your food delivery apps and check your last 30 days of order history. Calculate the total. Then calculate what the same meals would have cost cooked at home. The gap is your delivery premium. Decide if it's worth it, consciously, not by default. 4. If you are using BNPL for regular spending, treat it as a signal and check whether any of the other 4 leaks explain the cash shortfall it's bridging. 5. Check your gym visit history for the past 6 months. Fewer than 24 visits in 6 months means fewer than once per week average. Run the per visit cost calculation and make the decision based on the number, not the intention. The total time this takes, roughly 90 minutes. The potential annual saving, over £2,000 on conservative assumptions. The 5-year investment value of that saving at 7%, over £12,000. 90 minutes, £12,000.